As a youngster growing up in Willimantic in the 1970s, Stanley B. Harris felt right at home at Alumni Field, where he spent his spring afternoons in the company of such Eastern greats as Jimmy Silva, Steve Thomas, Mike Turgeon, Billy Hickey, Steve Krajewski, and Scott Budner. As a youngster, the thought of his name one day being mentioned in the same breath as the greats of that era might never have crossed his mind. Possessing an infectious enthusiasm and a pure love of the game, Stan was a rangy shortstop with a strong arm who sprayed the ball to all fields as a right-handed contact hitter with doubles power. On the bases, he was an intelligent and speedy runner and an opportunistic base-stealing threat. The first four-year starter at shortstop under current head coach Bill Holowati, Stan was a key component on teams which won 30 games and qualified for NCAA tournament play each season between 1983 and 1986. In his first season, the team with the freshman shortstop surprised many by winning the Northeast Regional title for the second straight season. As a sophomore in 1984, Stan established himself as a bona fide offensive threat when he raised his average 120 percentage points to 343. He fully blossomed as a junior in 1985 when he played a team-leading 370 innings and amassed a New England record 197 at-bats. He batted a career-high 345 that year and shared the team lead with 13 doubles. In his career, Stan batted .320 with 197 hits, 148 runs, 97 runs batted in, 72 stolen bases, and 370 assists, and he twice was named to the All-New England team at the most difficult position on the field. At the time of graduation, he ranked first all-time in steals, second in assists, and sixth in hits. Defensively, Stan led the team in assists each of his first three seasons. After returning from a thumb injury in his senior season, Stan batted .533 in the regional tournament and collected run-scoring singles in each of his final two career at-bats.
My name is John Risley, and I have the honor and privilege of presenting Stanley Harris as a member of the class of 2008 ECSU Athletic Hall of Fame. Stan is a Windham native and played youth baseball at Windham High School and was an outstanding American Legion player in post-19 in Willimantic for 5 years. I was fortunate to have been his Legion coach and as an assistant coach at ECSU, where he was one of the best all-around shortstops to play at Eastern. Besides his hitting and fielding skills, Stan had two other athletic attributes that are hard to come by. The first one was his outstanding ability to lead his team on the field. Once he took the field, his enthusiasm as a leader was such that coaches were not needed when Stan was performing. In this regard, I have never seen his equal. Stan's other strength was as a great base runner. Stan could advance the base paths exceptionally well. He was one of the best players I was ever involved with who could score from first base on a long single with regularity. Also, his uncanny ability of stealing home was remarkable.
Well, I think his personality certainly stood out playing the game. He always enjoyed playing. He always had a smile on his face. Stan just had a zest for the game, had a love for the game, played with an enthusiasm, played with an excitement. He was enjoyable to watch, enjoyable to coach, and he listened and he learned and he improved. And not necessarily because of coaching, but because of his attitude and his effort. He did one thing. That freshman group in '83 came aboard right after the '82 national championship, and they brought that team back to Marietta the next year in '83, which is a very difficult thing to do as a really young team. And Stan was a very big part of that.
Stan is a guy that had a lot of accomplishments in his 4 years. He was able to take our team, and we won the World Series in 1982, and then we came in with a really young team in '83. We had a lot of freshmen that were playing varsity baseball, him being one of them, and we were able to take that team back in '83 back to the College World Series in Marietta. Stan is the type of guy that can light up a room when he comes into it with a smile, and that's the way he played the game. He sort of lit it up all the time, and he always kept everybody upbeat.
Hey Stanley, congratulations. It's Bill Walton here. What a high honor, and can't think of anyone more deserving of it. I so enjoyed playing with you for 3 years at Eastern. I know when I got there, when I saw you play on the field that one fall day, I knew I was stepping into a pretty high caliber place, so glad for that. Also loved being a captain with you our senior year. I'll never forget our conversations out in left field as you and I stretched each other out, and that was a lot of fun. Also, being a senior, there was no more they. We were the they. We were the guys that everyone looked up to. So this is such a high honor. no one more deserving, and I'm just so glad I can speak on your behalf and say congratulations.
And I remember one instance in that 1983 season, we're playing Ithaca it was in the last game of the regional tournament, and it's either us or them to go to the College World Series, and it seemed that it was either us or them that was always going to the College World Series. And Stan was a man on first base with 2 outs and their best hitter up, and he hit a towering fly ball, and there was a lot of wind, and the sun was high, and it was a tough ball to catch, and we were all praying Stan would catch it, and Stan was fluttering around at shortstop, and he finally caught it down by his shoe tops. And that's how the game ended, and that's how we went to the College World Series that year in 1983.
He was an unselfish player, and that was probably a big thing that nobody ever noticed about him. I mean, it wasn't about Stanley Harris, and he was competitive, but he wasn't afraid to give himself up, hit the ball opposite. John Risley did a very fine job with his amateur teams around here, Legion teams, of making Stanley and a whole group of players very good ball players. They had a great baseball core that year with Martineau and Risley, and they had a really nice core, Luciani, and that core was very good. They were competitive all throughout the state. And Stanley was one of those kids that excited the team and played with a zest that makes a team better.
At present, Stan is a teacher and a coach at the Mansfield Middle School and directs and instructs baseball fundamentals at various local baseball summer camps. I am pleased and honored at this time to present to you Stanley Harris, baseball player and gentleman, into the class of 2008 ECSU Athletic Hall of Fame.